Welcome back, everyone, and thank you for joining this fascinating journey into the world of rare coins, where ordinary money becomes extraordinary treasure, and where the tiniest minting error can transform a simple piece of change into something worth unimaginable millions. Today, we are going to explore the 1962 Lincoln Penny, a coin that most people consider to be just a simple 1-cent piece, a coin that has passed through countless hands, carried in pockets, jars, and cash registers for decades, and yet, under certain rare circumstances, this coin can be considered one of the most valuable coins in history, with a theoretical value reaching a staggering $519 million. This value, although almost unbelievable, comes from the combination of minting errors, mistakes in production, unique variations, and mint mark anomalies that make a single coin absolutely unique in the world. The 1962 Lincoln Penny represents not only a piece of history but also the thrilling possibility that one small, ordinary coin could be the key to unimaginable wealth for someone who discovers it in the right condition, with the right errors, and with perfect provenance. At first glance, the 1962 Lincoln Penny may seem like a typical copper coin with Abraham Lincoln's portrait on the obverse, the year 1962 stamped below, and the words "In God We Trust" and "Liberty" surrounding his face. On the reverse, the Lincoln Memorial stands tall with the motto "E Pluribus Unum" above it, and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. But when you start examining the coin with the eyes of a numismatist, the world of possibilities begins to open up. Small anomalies, subtle shifts, faint doubling, and unusual mint marks suddenly reveal a universe of rare errors that could increase the coin's value far beyond its face value. The 1962 Lincoln Penny is particularly interesting because it was minted during a time when billions of coins were produced for circulation, yet production errors could and did occur, leaving opportunities for rare, collectible mistakes that survived into the hands of ordinary people who never realized their coins could be worth millions. Understanding why a 1962 Lincoln Penny could potentially be worth hundreds of millions requires a deep dive into the minting process and the conditions under which the coins were produced. During this period, the Philadelphia and Denver mints were operating at full capacity, producing coins at an extraordinary rate to meet the demand for everyday transactions. Planchets, which are the blank metal discs used to strike coins, were fed into presses at high speed, and the dies used to imprint Lincoln's image and the Lincoln Memorial were pressed down with immense pressure. Any small deviation, such as a misaligned die, a worn or cracked die, or a planchet with impurities, could result in a coin that looked ordinary but contained hidden anomalies. Some of these anomalies, if perfectly preserved and rare, could make the coin worth an astronomical amount. One of the most commonly studied errors is the doubled die. In a doubled die, the die itself has been improperly prepared, creating a secondary, slightly shifted impression of certain letters, numbers, or design elements. On a 1962 Lincoln Penny, double die errors can occur on the obverse, affecting the date, the word "Liberty," or the motto "In God We Trust." A coin showing strong doubling that is clearly visible to the naked eye, especially in combination with perfect surfaces and luster, can instantly become highly valuable to collectors. The doubling occurs during the creation of the die, which means the effect is baked into every strike made with that die. Because it is extremely rare to find a coin with strong doubled die features in circulation, such coins are considered highly collectible. Another category of errors comes from die cracks. A die crack occurs when a coin die develops a fissure due to stress, wear, or improper preparation. When the coin is struck with this cracked die, raised lines appear on the surface, following the pattern of the crack. These lines can be subtle or dramatic, depending on the severity of the crack. A 1962 Lincoln Penny with a prominent die crack that extends across Lincoln's face, his coat, or the memorial on the reverse, especially if it intersects important design features like the date or lettering, becomes extremely interesting to collectors. The uniqueness of the crack and the pattern it forms can make the coin one of a kind, adding immense value. Off-center strikes are also a critical area of interest. When a planchet is not properly centered between the dies, the resulting coin will appear partially struck, with part of the design missing or shifted to one side. The value of off-center coins depends on the percentage of the misalignment. A mild off-center strike may be noticeable but is less valuable, whereas an extreme off-center strike, particularly one that still shows the date or key design elements, is exceedingly rare and can command enormous sums in the collector market. A 1962 Lincoln penny with a strong off-center strike, especially if the coin has never been circulated and retains full mint luster, could contribute to the hypothetical $519 million valuation. Clipped planchets represent another fascinating mint error. These occur when a planchet is not properly cut from the metal strip, resulting in coins that are missing a portion of their edge. A clipped penny can appear with a crescent shape missing from the edge or a straight-edge clip that is strikingly obvious. The larger and more uniform the clip, the more desirable the coin is to collectors. A 1962 Lincoln penny with a prominent clip, especially if it occurs alongside another significant error like a die crack or doubling, becomes extremely rare and valuable. Misplaced or repunched mint marks add yet another layer of intrigue. The 1962 pennies bear the mint mark D for Denver or no mark for Philadelphia. If the mint mark is doubled, misplaced, repunched, or rotated, it becomes an anomaly that collectors actively seek. Mint mark errors are particularly desirable because they provide a way to authenticate and date the coin while also marking it as distinct from the millions of ordinary coins that share the same year and design. Struck-through errors, where a foreign object or debris is accidentally caught between the die and planchet during the striking process, can also result in dramatic and unique coins. These struck-through objects leave impressions on the coin that are visually striking and impossible to replicate, creating a coin that is essentially one of a kind. In the case of the 1962 Lincoln penny, a struck-through error could have occurred during high-volume production or due to minor contamination in the minting process. Such coins are highly prized because they combine rarity, visual appeal, and historical curiosity. Double strikes represent yet another layer of possible value. In these cases, a coin is struck more than once, usually with a slight rotation or shift between strikes. This creates overlapping images that can be strikingly unusual, producing coins that are immediately identifiable as anomalies. A 1962 Lincoln penny that is double struck, particularly if both strikes are sharply detailed, would be a remarkable find and could easily justify part of the extreme theoretical value attributed to such coins. Condition is perhaps the single most important factor in determining the value of any coin. Even a coin with a dramatic error can lose value if it has been circulated and shows wear, scratches, or discoloration. In contrast, a coin that remains in mint state, with perfect surfaces and sharp details, can exponentially increase in value. For a coin like the 1962 Lincoln penny to reach a theoretical value of $519 million, it would need to be in impeccable condition, with all errors perfectly visible and no signs of wear or damage. This makes the coin not only rare due to its errors but also a pristine specimen of historical significance. Consider, too, the possibility of transitional planchet errors. Occasionally, a planchet prepared for one coin type or composition could accidentally be used for another coin. Although less common in the 1960s, it is theoretically possible that a Lincoln penny could have been struck on a planchet intended for another denomination, or with slightly different metal composition. Such an anomaly, if confirmed, would make the coin virtually impossible to replicate, adding immeasurably to its value. It is also important to recognize how multiple errors can compound a coin's rarity. A coin with one unusual feature is valuable. A coin with two unusual features is rarer. A coin with 3 or 4 simultaneous anomalies becomes extraordinarily rare. Imagine a 1962 Lincoln penny with a double die on the obverse, a prominent die crack extending across Lincoln's face, a clipped planchet, a misaligned mint mark, and a slight off-center strike. Each of these anomalies would individually be interesting, but combined, they create a coin that is truly one of a kind, something collectors dream of finding but rarely, if ever, encounter. The story of such a coin also intersects with human fascination. The idea that a coin so small, so ordinary in daily life, could potentially hold hundreds of millions of dollars sparks the imagination. People are drawn to stories of hidden treasures, and the 1962 Lincoln penny provides the perfect canvas for that narrative. My dears, again, thank you so much for joining me today as we dive into one of the most fascinating, intriguing, and potentially life-changing coins in the history of United States numismatics. Today we are exploring the 1976 Lincoln Penny, a coin that may appear ordinary at first glance, something that has circulated quietly in pockets, jars, and cash registers for decades, yet it hides a world of incredible possibilities that could make it one of the most valuable coins ever imagined, with a theoretical value reaching an astonishing $514 million. This remarkable valuation does not come from the metal itself or its face value, but from the rare, unique, and sometimes accidental errors, mistakes, mint mark anomalies, and striking variations that occurred during production. The 1976 Lincoln Penny stands as a perfect example of how something seemingly ordinary can become extraordinary, demonstrating that in the world of coin collecting, rarity, condition, uniqueness, and historical context can combine to create unimaginable value. At first glance, the 1976 Lincoln Penny looks like any other penny. It has Abraham Lincoln's profile on the obverse, accompanied by the inscriptions "I in God We Trust" at the top, "Liberty" to the left, and the year 1976 at the bottom. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial with the words "United States of America" above, "E Pluribus Unum" on the top portion, and the denomination 1 cent at the bottom. However, what seems like an ordinary design is a canvas for an array of rare possibilities. The intricate detail on Lincoln's profile, the fine lines in the memorial, and the subtle texture of the coin's surface make it the perfect candidate for displaying anomalies such as doubled dies, die cracks, misaligned strikes, off-center strikes, clipped planchets, repunched mint marks, struck through debris, and other unusual production occurrences that can transform a simple coin into an object of immense value. The year 1976 is particularly interesting in the context of the Lincoln Penny, because it coincides with the United States bicentennial celebrations. While the penny itself was not redesigned for the bicentennial, that honor went to the quarter production pressures, high-volume minting, and public excitement around the 200th anniversary of the nation's founding contributed to unusual circumstances at the mints. During this time, the Philadelphia and Denver mints were operating at high capacity, producing massive quantities of pennies to meet everyday demand. This high-volume environment, coupled with human and mechanical factors, created the perfect conditions for rare errors to occur. Planchets may have been improperly prepared, dies may have shifted slightly, and mint marks could have been mispunched or repunched. Any of these small variations, when preserved on a single coin, can create a specimen that is incredibly rare, historically significant, and potentially worth millions to the right collector. One of the most significant types of errors found on Lincoln pennies is the doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the die itself, which stamps the design onto the blank planchet, has been accidentally engraved or impressed twice, slightly misaligned between impressions. On a 1976 Lincoln penny, this could manifest as doubling on the date, the word liberty, or even on "I in God We Trust." When the doubling is pronounced and clearly visible to the naked eye, it becomes a major attraction for collectors. This is because the error is baked into the die, meaning any coins struck from it carry the same anomaly, yet finding a specimen in perfect condition that clearly shows the doubling is extremely rare. A well-preserved 1976 Lincoln penny with a dramatic doubled die could, in theory, form the basis for the extraordinary valuation of $514 million. Another type of error that collectors prize is a die crack. Die cracks occur when a die used to strike coins develops a fissure due to stress or wear. When the coin is struck, the fissure translates into a raised line on the surface of the coin. On a 1976 Lincoln penny, die cracks may appear on Lincoln's profile, across the lettering, or even intersecting with the date. The uniqueness of the pattern, the prominence of the crack, and the coin's preservation state can dramatically increase its value. A coin with a prominent, visually striking die crack that is otherwise in mint condition is considered a treasure among collectors, and examples are extremely rare in circulation. Off-center strikes are another fascinating error that adds to a coin's rarity. This occurs when the planchet is not properly centered between the dies during striking. A mild off-center strike may simply produce a small portion of the design missing from one edge, but extreme off-center strikes can result in dramatic visual shifts where half the design is missing, or key features are truncated. Collectors prize extreme off-center strikes because they are rare and visually stunning, and if combined with other errors, such as a double die or die crack, the value multiplies exponentially. A 1976 Lincoln penny with a significant off-center strike could easily be the cornerstone of the theoretical $514 million value. Clipped planchets are another intriguing category of errors. A clipped planchet occurs when a coin blank is improperly cut from the metal strip, producing a coin that is missing a portion of its edge. On a 1976 Lincoln penny, a prominent clip could be in the shape of a crescent or a straight line, depending on how the planchet was miscut. When such a coin is preserved in mint condition, and when the clip is unusually large or uniform, it becomes highly desirable to collectors. The combination of a clipped planchet with other dramatic errors can make the coin effectively one of a kind. Mint mark errors are particularly interesting for the 1976 Lincoln penny. The penny was produced at both the Philadelphia and Denver mints, with Denver coins marked with AD mint mark and Philadelphia coins typically unmarked. Sometimes mint marks are misaligned, repunched, rotated, or doubled, creating unique and visually striking anomalies. Such errors are relatively rare, and when they occur in combination with other dramatic features, the result can be a coin that is completely unique and of immense potential value. Struck-through errors occur when a piece of debris, dust, grease, or another foreign object becomes trapped between the die and the planchet during striking. This can produce a missing section or an unusual impression on the coin, effectively creating a coin that is impossible to replicate. In the case of the 1976 Lincoln penny, a struck-through error could create dramatic and highly collectible features that would excite the numismatic community. The presence of such an error, particularly in conjunction with other anomalies, could contribute significantly to the coin's theoretical valuation of hundreds of millions of dollars. Double strikes represent yet another fascinating error type. A double strike occurs when a coin is struck more than once, often with a slight rotation or shift between strikes. The overlapping images create a visually striking result that is immediately recognizable. On a 1976 Lincoln penny, a double strike could produce an overlapping Lincoln profile, doubled lettering, or even an offset memorial impression on the reverse. Such a coin, particularly if it is preserved in mint condition, would be considered extremely rare and highly valuable. Condition is perhaps the single most important factor in determining the value of a coin, regardless of the type of error it contains. A coin with a dramatic error but showing wear, scratches, or discoloration will never reach the maximum potential value. Conversely, a coin that retains full mint luster, sharp details, and is free from circulation wear dramatically increases its desirability and market value. For a 1976 Lincoln penny to reach a theoretical valuation of $514 million, it must exist in near-perfect condition, with errors fully visible and well-preserved. This level of preservation combined with extreme rarity is what transforms a seemingly ordinary penny into a numismatic legend. Transitional planchet errors, while rare in the 1970s, are another potential source of value. Occasionally, a planchet intended for one denomination or composition could be accidentally used for another. If a 1976 Lincoln penny were struck on a planchet with a slightly different composition, thickness, or weight, it could create a coin that is effectively one of a kind. Collectors prize such anomalies because they cannot be intentionally replicated, further enhancing the coin's rarity and theoretical value. When multiple errors occur on a single coin, the rarity increases exponentially. A coin with one dramatic error is valuable, but a coin with 2, 3, or even 4 simultaneous anomalies becomes almost mythical. Imagine a 1976 Lincoln penny with a strong doubled die, a prominent die crack, an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, a misaligned mint mark, and perhaps even a struck-through feature. Each of these anomalies is individually significant, but combined, they create a coin that is effectively irreplaceable. Such a coin would be the ultimate prize for collectors, and its value could, in theory, reach the extraordinary numbers that have been speculated. My dears, now we dive into one of the most fascinating and potentially valuable coins in American numismatics, a coin that most of us encounter in our daily lives without giving it a second thought, yet under extraordinary circumstances has the potential to be worth hundreds of millions of dollars. Now we are exploring the 1981 Lincoln Penny, a coin that seems ordinary at first glance, a simple 1-cent piece featuring Abraham Lincoln on the obverse and the Lincoln Memorial on the reverse. But under certain rare conditions related to minting errors, planchet mistakes, die anomalies, and mint mark irregularities, a single specimen could be considered one of the most valuable coins in the world. The 1981 Lincoln Penny represents the intersection of chance, history, and numismatic intrigue, where a coin that is physically small and common in circulation can, through rarity and uniqueness, reach a theoretical value of $508 million, a number that almost defies belief until we explore the intricate details of minting errors, historical circumstances, and collector demand that makes such valuations possible. The 1981 Lincoln Penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The obverse design features a detailed profile of Lincoln, with the date 1981 stamped below and the words Liberty to the left and I in God We Trust above. The reverse shows the Lincoln Memorial, a design that has been in place since 1959, with the motto E Pluribus Unum above and 1 cent below. While billions of these pennies were minted, the conditions of production in 1981 were such that rare anomalies could occur, and these anomalies are precisely what can make a coin astronomically valuable. Many collectors and experts focus not only on the face design but on minute details such as die alignment, doubling, metal composition, planchet flaws, and mint mark placement, all of which can distinguish a coin as exceptionally rare and highly desirable. Understanding the extraordinary potential value of a 1981 Lincoln penny requires a closer look at the minting process. Each penny begins as a planchet, a blank metal disc carefully prepared from a copper-based alloy. These planchets are fed into high-speed coining presses, where they are struck with dies that imprint both the obverse and reverse designs simultaneously under immense pressure. Despite stringent quality control measures, errors can occur at multiple points. Dies may be misaligned, improperly prepared, or cracked. Planchets may contain impurities or be slightly misshapen, and mechanical malfunctions may result in off-center or double strikes. Any one of these errors can produce a coin that looks normal at first glance but is extraordinarily rare upon closer examination. Collectors dedicate years to identifying these anomalies, studying minute differences that transform ordinary coins into prized collectibles. One of the most well-known types of minting errors is the doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the die itself is improperly engraved or prepared, producing a secondary, slightly offset impression of letters, numbers, or design elements on the struck coins. On the 1981 Lincoln penny, double die errors can appear on the obverse, affecting Lincoln's portrait, the date, the word Liberty, or the motto I in God We Trust. Coins exhibiting strong doubling, especially when visible to the naked eye, are highly sought after. The doubling is permanent on all coins struck by that die, but extreme examples are rare, and finding one in circulation, especially in pristine condition, can result in a coin that is worth many times its face value. Die cracks represent another fascinating category of errors that can dramatically increase a coin's value. A die crack occurs when a fissure develops in a die due to stress, extended use, or improper handling. Coins struck with a cracked die will exhibit raised lines following the crack's pattern. These cracks can range from subtle hairline marks to dramatic lines spanning major elements of the coin's design. On a 1981 Lincoln penny, a prominent die crack crossing Lincoln's profile, the date, or the Lincoln Memorial can create a visually striking, one-of-a-kind coin that commands significant collector interest. The uniqueness of the crack pattern makes each example distinctive, and in cases of extreme or rare cracks, the theoretical value can reach extraordinary levels. Off-center strikes are another area of keen interest among collectors. When a planchet is not properly aligned in the press, the resulting coin is partially struck, leaving part of the design missing or shifted to one side. The rarity and value of off-center coins depend on the degree of misalignment. Minor offsets are more common and less valuable, but extreme off-center strikes, particularly those that still show readable dates or key design elements, are exceptionally rare and highly desirable. A 1981 Lincoln penny with a dramatic off-center strike in mint condition could contribute to the speculative value of over $500 million. Clipped planchets also present significant collector interest. These occur when a planchet is improperly punched from the metal strip, leaving a portion of the coin missing along the edge. Clipped planchets may take on crescent or straight-line shapes, and the size and uniformity of the clip influence the coin's value. A 1981 Lincoln penny with a large, well-formed clip, particularly if paired with other errors such as a die crack or double die, becomes extremely rare and valuable. Mint mark errors are another important aspect of coin rarity. The 1981 Lincoln pennies produced in Denver carry a D mint mark, while those from Philadelphia bear no mint mark. Errors in the mint mark such as doubling, misplacement, repunching, or rotation can distinguish a coin from millions of ordinary examples. A coin exhibiting a dramatic mint mark anomaly alongside other errors becomes exceptionally rare and highly sought after. Mint mark errors are particularly valuable because they provide verification of origin while simultaneously marking the coin as distinct from its ordinary counterparts. Struck-through errors, where a foreign object or debris becomes trapped between the die and planchet during the striking process, can create unique, visually striking coins. These struck-through objects leave impressions or missing areas that are one of a kind and cannot be intentionally replicated. A 1981 Lincoln penny struck through foreign material, especially if combined with other major errors, becomes highly collectible due to the uniqueness and visual appeal of the anomaly. Double strikes are yet another factor that contributes to rarity. When a coin is struck twice, often with a slight rotation or shift between strikes, overlapping images create a dramatic and visually unusual coin. A 1981 Lincoln penny with a double strike, particularly one where both strikes are crisp and well-defined, would be considered extremely rare and could command a very high price, justifying part of the theoretical $508 million valuation. Condition plays a critical role in determining value. Even a coin with dramatic errors may lose significant value if it shows wear, scratches, corrosion, or other damage. In contrast, a coin in mint state, showing sharp details, full luster, and no signs of circulation, can increase exponentially in value. For a 1981 Lincoln penny to reach a theoretical value of $508 million, it must not only exhibit rare errors but also be in near-perfect condition, making it simultaneously a treasure for its rarity and its state of preservation. Transitional planchet errors, though rare, can also dramatically enhance a coin's value. Occasionally, planchets intended for a different denomination, year, or metal composition may be used by accident. If a 1981 Lincoln penny were struck on a planchet intended for a different coin or with an unusual metal composition, it would be virtually one of a kind and of exceptional interest to collectors. The combination of multiple errors compounds rarity and value. A coin with one error is valuable, two errors more so, and a coin with 3, 4, or more simultaneous anomalies becomes extraordinarily rare. Imagine a 1981 Lincoln penny that combines a double die, a prominent die crack across Lincoln's profile, an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, and a repunched or misaligned mint mark. Individually, each of these features is significant, but together, they create a coin that is effectively impossible to replicate, making it uniquely valuable. Human fascination with coins like this is a major driver of value. The idea that a small, ordinary penny could potentially be worth hundreds of millions sparks imagination, drives searches through coin rolls, jars, and collections, and inspires collectors to pay meticulous attention to detail. The thrill of discovery, the joy of identifying a rare error, and the excitement of holding a coin that is completely unique are all factors that contribute to the hypothetical value of such coins. Coins minted in 1981 also carry historical context. The early 1980s were a time of economic and technological change in the United States. While the historical context does not directly influence minting errors, it does increase the narrative and symbolic value of coins from this period. A coin that exhibits dramatic anomalies becomes not just a collectible but also a piece of history, providing a tangible connection to the era in which it was produced. Now, my dears, at the last history of this video we are diving deep into the 1984 Lincoln penny, a coin that, at first glance, might seem ordinary, a simple 1-cent piece that passed through millions of hands, carried in wallets, jars, and cash registers across the United States, but under certain rare circumstances, this coin can achieve extraordinary value. With theoretical valuations reaching an astounding $503 million, the 1984 Lincoln Penny exemplifies the unique intersection of minting anomalies, production errors, historical significance, and collector demand. Understanding what makes this penny so rare, desirable, and potentially valuable requires a detailed exploration of its history, production process, and the types of anomalies that can occur, transforming a simple coin into a highly coveted numismatic treasure. The 1984 Lincoln Penny is part of the long-running Lincoln Cent series, which began in 1909 to commemorate Abraham Lincoln's 100th birthday. The obverse features a detailed portrait of Lincoln facing right, with the year 1984 inscribed below, Liberty on the left, and the motto "I in God We Trust" above. The reverse features the Lincoln Memorial, a design introduced in 1959, with the denomination 1 cent below and E pluribus unum above. While millions of these pennies were minted in Philadelphia and Denver, the circumstances under which they were produced allowed for rare minting errors to occur. These errors, when combined with exceptional preservation, can dramatically increase the value of individual coins. For collectors and enthusiasts, understanding these anomalies and recognizing their significance is crucial, as even a single feature can elevate a coin from common currency to a potentially multi-million-dollar collectible. To comprehend why a 1984 Lincoln penny could theoretically be worth hundreds of millions, we need to consider the minting process in detail. Each penny starts as a planchet, a blank metal disc made from a copper-based alloy, which is carefully cut, polished, and prepared for striking. The planchets are fed into coining presses, where powerful dies imprint the obverse and reverse designs under immense pressure. Despite rigorous quality control, errors can occur during this process, ranging from minor anomalies to dramatic mistakes that transform ordinary coins into rare collectibles. Dies may be misaligned, improperly engraved, or worn. Planchets may contain impurities or be slightly malformed, and mechanical malfunctions can result in off-center strikes or double impressions. Each of these scenarios has the potential to create a coin of exceptional rarity, and when these errors are preserved in mint condition, the coin becomes extraordinarily valuable. One of the most widely recognized error types is the doubled die. A doubled die occurs when the die itself is improperly prepared, resulting in a secondary, slightly offset impression on the coin. On a 1984 Lincoln penny, doubling can appear on the date, the word Liberty, or the motto "I in God We Trust." Coins exhibiting strong, visible doubling are highly prized by collectors. This error is particularly significant because it originates from the die itself. All coins struck from a misaligned die exhibit the anomaly. While doubling can vary in intensity, coins with strong, clearly visible doubled die features, especially when preserved in mint state, can achieve extraordinary valuations. Die cracks are another fascinating form of mint error that contributes to the rarity of certain coins. A die crack occurs when a fissure forms in a die due to stress, excessive use, or improper handling. Coins struck with a cracked die display raised lines along the path of the crack. These cracks can range from minor hairlines to dramatic marks spanning major portions of the coin. On a 1984 Lincoln penny, a prominent die crack crossing Lincoln's face, the date, or the Lincoln Memorial creates a visually striking anomaly. The uniqueness of each crack, along with its placement on the coin, makes each example different, and dramatic cracks can significantly increase a coin's value. Off-center strikes are another key feature sought after by collectors. When a planchet is not properly aligned in the press, the coin is partially struck, leaving a portion of the design missing or shifted to one side. The degree of misalignment largely determines the coin's rarity and value. Minor offsets are more common and less valuable, whereas extreme off-center strikes that still display readable dates or design elements are extremely rare and highly prized. A 1984 Lincoln penny with a strong off-center strike in pristine condition could command an extraordinary price, contributing to its theoretical $503 million valuation. Clipped planchets are yet another category of valuable mint error. These occur when a planchet is improperly cut from the metal strip, leaving a portion of the coin missing along its edge. Clipped planchets may appear as crescent shapes or straight line cuts, and the size and uniformity of the clip affect collector value. A 1984 Lincoln penny exhibiting a large, well-formed clip, particularly alongside other errors like a die crack or doubled die, becomes exceptionally rare and valuable. Mint mark errors also play a significant role in a coin's rarity. The 1984 Lincoln pennies produced in Denver carry a D mint mark, while Philadelphia coins bear no mint mark. Errors involving the mint mark such as doubling, misplacement, repunching, or rotation distinguish a coin from millions of ordinary examples. A 1984 Lincoln penny exhibiting a dramatic mint mark anomaly along with other errors becomes exceedingly rare, highly desirable, and potentially worth millions. Struck through errors are another intriguing phenomenon. When a foreign object or debris is caught between the die and the planchet during striking, it can leave unique impressions or missing areas on the coin's surface. Such anomalies are highly sought after because they are impossible to replicate intentionally, creating coins that are visually and historically unique. A 1984 Lincoln penny was struck through debris, especially in combination with other major errors, becomes a coin of extraordinary rarity and collector interest. Double strikes are yet another factor that increases a coin's value. When a coin is struck twice, often with slight rotation or misalignment between strikes, the resulting overlapping images create a visually striking effect. A 1984 Lincoln penny with a sharp, well-defined double strike is extremely rare and highly collectible, contributing significantly to its theoretical valuation. Condition is perhaps the most critical factor in determining the ultimate value of a coin. Even coins with dramatic errors may lose substantial value if they show signs of circulation, wear, scratches, or corrosion. Conversely, a coin in mint state, with sharp details and full luster, can exponentially increase in value. For a 1984 Lincoln penny to approach the theoretical $503 million mark, it must combine rare errors with impeccable condition, making it both rare and perfectly preserved. Transitional planchet errors, though less common, can also enhance a coin's value. Occasionally, planchets intended for another denomination, year, or metal composition may be struck by mistake. If a 1984 Lincoln penny were struck on a planchet intended for another type of coin, or with an unusual composition, it would be virtually one of a kind, adding immensely to its rarity and desirability. The combination of multiple errors further amplifies rarity and value. A coin with one error is valuable, two errors more so, and a coin with three or more simultaneous anomalies becomes extraordinary. Imagine a 1984 Lincoln penny exhibiting a doubled die, a prominent die crack, an off-center strike, a clipped planchet, and a repunched or misaligned mint mark. Each error individually is significant, but together they create a coin that is virtually impossible to replicate, making it a once-in-a-lifetime find for collectors. The human fascination with coins like the 1984 Lincoln penny is a major factor in its value. The idea that an ordinary penny could potentially be worth hundreds of millions captivates imaginations, inspiring searches through coin rolls, jars, and collections. The thrill of discovery, the excitement of identifying a rare error, and the joy of holding a coin that is completely unique all contribute to its allure and theoretical valuation. Coins minted in 1984 also carry historical and cultural context. The early 1980s were a time of social, technological, and economic change in the United States. While historical context does not directly affect minting errors, it enhances the narrative value of coins from this period. A coin with dramatic anomalies becomes not only a collectible but also a tangible piece of history, providing insight into the production methods and circumstances of the time. Die clash errors add yet another layer of rarity. A die clash occurs when the obverse and reverse dies strike each other without a planchet between them, leaving faint impressions of one design on the opposite die. When a coin is later struck with these damaged dies, faint outlines of the opposite design appear on the coin, creating a ghost-like effect.